Yo, what up? What up? It's Elijah Blake, and you know I got soul.
Thank you for taking the time out for the interview. We appreciate it.
Oh, man, you know, it's always love with you guys.
For sure. So, just want to start out. I just saw like 5 minutes ago you tweeted out this 3-song series called Free. So, talk about that a little bit.
So there's certain songs that I feel, as an artist, you go in and you create and you fall in love with, but sometimes they don't necessarily make the project because sonically or for the cohesiveness and the storyline. So I know with a lot of my peers, those songs end up being locked and stuck in the iTunes catalog and no one ever gets to hear them. I'm like, nah, my whole motto this time around is no fear and just being free. So I just want to let those songs, I just spoke to ID and talk to everybody and wanted those songs to have a chance to be free and get a life of their own. So, one of those songs was done after the EP was mixed and mastered and the album was already selected. So I'm like, dang, I don't want to wait till the next album to bring it around. So that's just what those songs are. Songs that I learned that just didn't necessarily make it to the album.
Cool. And did you kind of do that strategically? Because I know you released 2 songs yesterday and now you're putting out an EP. Was that kind of done by design?
Not. We had intentions to put the visual out for sure. But I wanted, it's been so long that everybody's been waiting for music, from me since BG 22, and I felt like I talked to ID. I was like, man, they've been patient out. When I spoke to my team at Rock Nation as well, I was like, man, it's for the people who have been patient. The people who don't care aren't going to find it anyways. You know what I mean? But this is kind of like my gift to everyone who kind of waited for me. So it was kind of sporadic.
Okay, cool. And speaking of songs, you released a new one yesterday called 6. Very powerful song. So what does that song kind of mean to you?
It just means, it represents, it's more so what that song represents to me is, it represents honesty, transparency, and just, being flawed, in a way, just being flawed in the most perfect way in a sense, because kind of saying, look, like, I still, don't get it twisted, like, I still love me and love who I am today. I'm just acknowledging certain things that happened that, kind of took part in who I am today as well. But I just think that every time when I'm speaking to JoJo, when I played the song for her, the first thing JoJo and B.O.B. were in the first thing JoJo said was, man, I just think it's so powerful that a guy is saying this. You know what I mean? Like, she was kind of over everybody walking around with a super machismo. I'm kind of immune to all that, but no, it's just real life, and we all go through those types of things.
Right. And that's something that I've kind of noticed with you and your writing is that you're very honest with your music. So did you kind of have any hesitations when you put out a record like this?
Now, when I saw the visual, for sure, like,
yeah.
So we shot it when I saw the video, and just some of those images with the little kid, and it's just like, even looking at him on set, I was kind of like looking at him from the side of my eye, like, I was like, were you there? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it out so well, and it was very vivid for me, and just brought it back. So you think you're in tune with those emotions, but then when you see them visually, outside of the way that you see them visually in your mind, it's kind of like, wow, it just reminds you how real it is. Sometimes when we have something in our head and in the back of our brain, we forget how real it was and how it happened.
Yeah. And I believe I also heard that song recorded by B. Slade, so can you kind of talk about the history of that song a little bit?
Yeah, so first of all, B. Slade was like very instrumental in my project. He's like, he came on as a vocal producer for me, and then, he kind of, he was like, he's always been, every time we're in the studio, he's like, it's so weird how similar we are. Like, we'll talk about, we're both from the church and how our parents were, like, we always talk about how similar we are. You know what I mean? Like, he's always like, this is so creepy. So he's like, there's this song, an idea I have, and he knew how much I love Prince. So originally he had the idea to like a Prince type of track.
Yeah.
And he brought it to me, and I was just like, he was like, only person I can really ever see bring this to life would be somebody like you, because everybody else is afraid of touching on this topic. He's like, I'm just going to put this in your ear and let me know what you think about it. But B. Slade has this dude, like, he has a setup at his house, so he records an idea and puts the shit up on YouTube and everywhere.
Yep.
That's just the type of person he is.
Yeah.
So when it got to me, I lived with it for a little bit. Then I did some research on Six, and I found out that those mannerisms, pretty much developed at 6 years old, and just the whole thing behind it. And so I came back to my like, not all of this and this idea like really pertains to me, and every song I do, I always make sure it's personal to me and honest from me, from that perspective. So here are the tweaks, and here's how I was worded, and here's certain adjustments I would make to it, and then that's how we came up with the Six Fallen.
Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, with your sound right now, it's really hard to kind of put you in a box, in a sound. You've been putting out some music and a lot of different sounds. Would you say this song in particular was kind of influenced by a song like All of Me by John Legend, which kind of opened the doors for people to make this kind of music again?
Believe it or not, we did this song way before then, but No ID, that's why I kind of like stopped questioning his genius. I never really questioned it, but as artists, we get stubborn in our way, so sometimes he'll tell me stuff, and I'm like, he kept saying it like, I think Six should be the single, because, once I made it my own, and then No ID was like, all right, cool, let's do this type of production, and just put a piano. He's like, let the message, no distractions from the message. So No ID, when James Poison, he's like, well, let's revisit it in this sense. So we did that, but I just was kind of like, no, we need an up-tempo, and I want to dance, and all this stuff, because that's another thing people really don't know, that dancing was like my thing, you know what I mean? And it's just, they'll see that in some of the visuals to come where I really like tackle that. I just want to, I want to kind of like what you said, I want to eliminate the boxes that, we get put into as artists. Like I got into like a minor argument with somebody randomly at the restaurant last night. I was leaving the restaurant, and somebody came up to me and was like, hey, Elijah, I'm a really big fan. And, and they was like, yeah, I love the visual that you just dropped. I was like, thank you. And then I guess one of their friends came up to them and was like, oh, you do music? And he's like, yeah, this is Elijah Blake. And the guy's like, oh, dope, I want to check you out. What kind of music do you do? And I said, music. He's like, yeah, but what kind? And I said, music, and he got so upset at that.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew my mind like that. We downloaded this into our minds that it's so programmed into our DNA that we get insulted when somebody just replies music. And I just was like, I told him, I was like, yo, no offense, I just feel like, not to say I'm on the level of these people, but I just try to follow in that, in those footsteps where I don't think anybody would walk up to Michael Jackson or Prince, or not even walk up to them, but just when you think about Michael Jackson, you think about Prince, you think about Stevie Wonder, you don't think R&B, you don't think folk, you don't think country, you don't think rock and roll, you just think of music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, music.
Cool. So
that's what I want to say. That's just what I want to follow in those steps.
Well, following up with that, I know you have an EP coming out, Drift. Can you talk about the EP and what we can expect sonically?
Yeah, sonically, you could definitely expect 22 to the 10th power. Like, I saw some of the comments in there, people with these new songs, they're like, oh my God, I love these new songs, but they're kind of like different from, BG22, but like, Drift is really the next step. Like, these are songs that didn't necessarily make, and I'm glad I'm able to talk about it now. These are songs that necessarily didn't get to make either project, but with Drift, it probably is, going to be some of the best music I would like to think that people have heard this year. It's very cerebral. It's even more honest than my last EP, and it's I'm experimenting more in No ID. The sound quality is amazing. We got it mixed and mastered like an album. It's really, you know what I mean? Like, we took all the stuff, like, we didn't take any shortcuts, like live musicians, and we did like 20 revisions of every song. Sometimes not just adding things, but sometimes we stripped everything off, like the drums and everything. It was like, let's leave it like this. So I just feel like, this is people who kind of been rocking with Elijah Blake. This is kind of like the payoff, and the album is the reward.
Cool. And let's talk about your writing for a little bit. Like a song like Six, powerful message. A lot of people can relate to it. I remember when you first came out years ago, I remember a song you did called Anniversary, and
Oh man.
I mean, a lot of people on YouTube love that song, but when I compare that song to a song like 6, where, I mean, Anniversary probably connected with a couple people, but this is connecting with people on another level. So talk about the growth in your writing since, I guess, Anniversary.
Yeah, it's grown so much, and I was saying because, certain things you can't teach, you just got to go through them, and I think that when I worked with Usher, I was able to sit there and he played me songs that didn't make it on Confessions and songs and why they didn't make it on Confessions, and I think those are things that you can't buy. Those are like once in a lifetime experiences that affected my writing, and just to sit there and talk to Beck and sit there when I remember there was a song that I recorded with Mary J. Blige called I Choose You, but it ended up on Keyshia Cole. But like when she came out the booth, I was like a little kid, like I was like probably like 18 when she did the song, and she comes out the booth and they print the lyrics out for her. She's like looking over the lyrics and she's like, "You wrote this?" You know what I mean? She looks at me and she's like, "No, but who really wrote it?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They go through this like. So it's just being around, but before that I had to put myself into real life experiences and watch what other people were going through because I was young and, sometimes that's not necessarily experiencing those. So I think me writing for people such veterans and people of that level and having to write at that quality for so long forced me to grow up faster. You know what I mean? Like even when I talk to my publishing company, you're like, the growth from you in like a matter of like a year and a half is like unreal, you know what I mean? So
cool.
I think that plays a part in it.
Yeah. And speaking of writing, have you had a chance to work with anyone in the studio for someone else's project?
I've been way more selective because I want to give myself I want to give, like I said, I want to give my music a fair shot. I've been giving myself to people for so long, and this, I always say this to you, Kyle, like, when they say, like, I hate the term songwriter turned singer, because if that's the case, then it's singer turned songwriter turned, singer, but at the end of the day, it's just art in its form. You don't separate the artist from the paintbrush, and you don't separate the, paint from the canvas, so I just feel like it's art regardless, but I've been really selective with my sessions because I want to be there when Def Jam needs me to do an interview or they need me to do something, because this is where it all begins. I didn't know I could write songs till I got a development deal. I had to write songs for myself. So the few people I have been working with, of course, anytime Usher needs me, I'm there. Keyshia, like, who's family to me, anytime she needs me, I'm there. I'm definitely going to try to give Reese some amazing stuff for this project if she's not done with it by now. It's a certain project I always make myself available for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of like, and I've been doing some pretty cool stuff with D.O.B., who I think is criminally underrated. Yeah, so it's certain projects that, regardless, like, I'm always there because they're like, it's more of a family thing. But as of right now, I've just been kind of devoting myself and being committed to Elijah Blake.
All right, cool. And that's all that we got for you. Anything you'd like to add?
Oh, man, just thank y'all, man, for being one of those outlets who support new artists and the new talent and the new wave, and not just kind of following whatever, whatever else everybody's running to. And, because to me, you guys were always like, yo, showing love, and like, yo, Elijah, we rock with you, even when I felt like people on the outside looking in didn't really know what was going on and just thought I was being lazy and not releasing music and not knowing, that the internal politics that was going on that's out of our control as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, people were like, oh, where's the new music? Where's the EP? And I was like, the Def Jam really had to just rebuild themselves. So as an artist, you just kind of have to wait, and then when everything is falling back into place, and now No ID and everybody, you kind of know where everybody is right now, so it's kind of easy to say, all right, this is what we're going to do. Let's pick up where we left off at.